Hello, everyone. How are y'all? Get to the comments and let's go through this again. Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Do you see me and can you hear me? Do you see me and can you hear me? Yes, very good. So, StreamYard's not screwing with me. I mean, messing with me. Okay. Hey, it's a struggle. It is a struggle with StreamYard sometimes. It's a struggle. How is everyone? How's everyone? Hi, Scout Inquirer. Good to see you. Hugs from New York. Thank you. Running Gray Wolf, thank you for being here. Eve, thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all. How's everybody? It is hot in Louisiana. I'm going to tell you, it is hot. Ooh, it is so hot. I mean, if you couldn't get a hound dog to do nothing before, you dag on straight ain't gonna get a hound dog to do nothing now. Cause he is not. He is not. You can forget it. You can forget it. You can forget it. Hi, Scout. You're gonna change colors here in a minute. Not literally. Just uh, your name's gonna change colors here in a minute. It's what I'm meaning. Yes, it is hot. It is let's see, what is it? 89. It's 89, but I think our humidity is yeah. Hey, it is 90 degrees and our humidity is 60%. And the winds are only 2 miles an hour. So you ain't getting nothing. You ain't getting nothing. This morning when I got up, I looked at um I looked at the weather and it was 87 and the humidity was 72%, I think. And I was like, it's going to be a day. So if you're not used to this weather and you walk out, if you have not heard people tell you that Louisiana will take your breath, it will. I'm here to tell you, it will. So it's hot. My little place in the world, which is almost an island, but here I am. I hope y'all are not as hot. It's comfortable there, Eve. You're probably, are you in Tennessee? Yeah, it's thick. It is so thick. Scout, I made you. Yeah, there you go. Oh, Scout, you've been. Gosh, I've probably known you since maybe Megan's lives. I mean, you've been around, and I was going to do that last time, and I it just happened where I didn't. Soup, yeah, yeah. 62 in New York. That's nice, huh? That's like a nice, comfortable. Yes, Tennessee. Yeah, yeah. So you're not as hot. You're nobody is as humid, I don't think, as Louisiana, and that's okay. I mean, I didn't know that until I moved away from Louisiana that nowhere was as humid as here. I didn't know that. But yeah, till I moved away and then I was like, "Oh yeah, we are a wet heat." Yeah, very. Mhm. We have friends that come from Texas and the first they hadn't been here like they were military from our military family. And so when they didn't retire the military like we did, but when they left the military and they went to Texas, and they found us, and they're like, "Well, we want to come see you." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm telling you, drink water, lots of water before you come to Louisiana." Oh, we're in Texas. It, I get it. I'm like, I know. I'm telling you, dude, drink water. drink water. And after he came here, he was like 2 hours outside. He was like, "Oh my god, I gotta go outside, take a shower, lay down. I'm so hot. I think I'm gonna pass out." And I was like, "Yeah, told you. If you come here, you got to please drink water and prepare yourself, please." Yeah, and she was kind enough to interest. That's right. Yep, I met you through Megan. I knew that. I knew. I thought I did. Yeah, you've been around. We've got some, our OGs that are faithful and they're here, and those are the ones I trust because y'all keep coming back, and so I appreciate y'all. I do. Take a shower and go outside, and you feel like you need. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That is it. That's like my shed is only my studio. It's a shed, but I made it into a studio. That's why I got it. But it's 12 by 36. And I have 2 air conditioner units in it, 2 wall window. And I have been through 3. And I've only had this here. See, 2020 is when I bought it. And then I think 2021 is when I finally got we because we finished the inside of it. And I think it's 2021 is when I started my channel, I think. And I have been through 3 AC units and I have bought a second one to go with the other one. 3. And I've got the biggest one. I had a 12,000 in BTU in here. And that's the biggest you can get for your window. Next up is like you got to have it put in. And then I added a one of the portable ones, that have the hose that goes out the win has the pipe or the tube that goes out the window, and it is really cold, but it's taking that one and another one too because I didn't want to put another window unit in, so it's taking both of those to make it tolerable in here for me. That's how hot it is. Heck no, it runs. It's like, oh my gosh, no, not the Louisiana heat. I am just going to I'm going to peace out on you because you are just like, it's too hot for me there. Y'all are too hot. So there may be times when you see my hair up because it's just too daggone hot. And the summer ain't even started, right? The summer's not even here. It's not even started. But we're going to talk about. I've been really diving into the case way more than I did when it first happened because I've learned a lot and I've learned how to look into things, and I've been watching a lot of different videos. I've been watching other creators too because everybody, creators have different ideas and opinions, and they may catch something that another creator does not catch. And I've been watching a lot of the spirit boxes. A lot of people have been doing spirit boxes. Not recent. Most of the ones I watched were 5 years ago, but I wanted to watch them anyway. But I've come across a lot of stuff that I didn't know before. And like the book that Chris Watts' cellmate wrote, he now calls Nicole a Jezebel, and that she made him do it, which I find interesting because he's never blamed himself. He's always blamed everything else, finances, Shanann. Now he's blaming Jezebel, which he should have blamed in the beginning. So I kind of wonder if it, because some people say, well, they communicate, but they communicate under like an alias. Because I'm guessing that was part of his deal, was that he couldn't communicate with her. I don't know what all his details were. We just had to buy a new AC unit. Yep. Yep. I'm telling you, the heat, man, just tears these units up. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, deodorant taken out. Yeah, deodorant's like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm not even." Definitely Jezebel with her black magic sure believes something to it. Yeah, absolutely. I do believe that because I that's what I was gonna say in the other, um, like, spirit box sessions and stuff, that I've been watching. All of them have that evil connection. She has that evil connection. It'll either say black magic or it'll say evil or it'll say dark. And that's all of them that I've seen. They've all had her connected somehow to dark magic. So it does not it doesn't surprise me one bit. And I agree with it. I I only think she would do that, Eve, if she was innocent. And I do not see because Amber Fry did. She came out, wrote a book. It didn't do well, but she still wrote it. And she told about it and she got up and spoke in front of, I believe she did a press conference. I think I'm right on that. But Nicole Kessinger has done nothing but hide. So if you're innocent, why would you hide? Even though people, you know, they're going to be mad at you just because of the nature of what you done. You can't get past that. But if you come out and and tell the truth, and they everybody knows she's lying because everybody has seen her interviews, interrogations, and then now they've seen all the text and all the things that were out there. They know that she um stalked Shanann's Facebook. So it would be nice if she would do that, but I think the reason she hasn't done that is because she's not innocent in one way, form, or the other. If you want to just say, okay, you can't say she unalived anybody, that's true. You can't. But you can't, you can say, well, she probably had a part in it, or she talked him into it, or she um, made him think. You know what I mean? So the fact that she was even at his house when he was still married to Shanann, rode in Shanann's vehicle. I mean, the fact that she did all of that automatically makes her in the wrong. But it's even worse because she, in my opinion, that's just my opinion, because she won't speak out. But, if she'd have done like Amber Fry, people would probably not hate or dislike her as much. That's just my opinion. Yeah, isn't that ridiculous how much a unit costs? Yes. Yeah. Especially if depending if it's a heat pump or any kind like that. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it is ridiculous. I see a lot of stuff on Scott yes. I seen something on him the other day, and there was, which we can talk about the Peterson case too later. But apparently there was documents that the defense had sealed and the prosecution was not allowed to see, like evidence that they weren't allowed to see. I don't know how that happens, how you can do that, but the judge unsealed that stuff so that can be presented at his appeal, and it's not good for him. It is not good for him. So um he probably will not, if what I watched was correct and true, he probably will not get his appeal because there was stuff that the defense said didn't happen that did happen, and there's proof of it. It was just sealed. So we'll see. Mine was there. Yep. Right. That's my thing is like if you're innocent, you're gonna get out there and you're gonna I'm not saying get on the internet every day and say I'm innocent. Get out there and tell your story. And if people choose not to believe it, then they choose not to believe it. But everybody has seen so much evidence of her being there, like her phone being there. You know, she stalked Shanann almost a year before uh, she supposedly was dating Chris. They had a secret app on the phone. I mean, just say she was guilty of just being a slut. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube, but I just said it. Or a Jezebel. Just say she was just guilty of that. Okay. We already know that. But, you need to say, you need to tell us why you're saying one thing in interrogation, but now proof that you were there. You were there. You did go to his house. You did ride in Shanann's car. Those things are, and she gives herself away in the interrogation about the car and being there and stuff. So, it's too much um contradiction in what she said, and I don't know if she didn't realize she was lying or what, but they what's his name? Rourke said the reason he didn't go through all that stuff is because Chris pleaded guilty. Well, why did Chris plead guilty? Just that quick. To avoid the death penalty? He didn't really have to worry about that because the Rusiks didn't want him to have the death penalty. They asked that he not have it. So that was already going to be a thing. He already wasn't going to get the death penalty because the Rusiks ask that he not have it. They didn't want any more death. So, yep, it sure is. Mm-hmm. Yep. And when you're going to see when we're watching this, she's so irritating. Because the way she whines and drags out her words and stuff, that's always worked for her, and it's gotten her out of things. And it got her out of this and her dad. She wasn't interviewed properly. She sure wasn't. The other one lived its life. It will include heat. Okay, yep. Yeah, it's ridiculous what it costs to put heat and air in. It is flipping ridiculous. Yep. Yep. And see, you can't trust what Chris says because he lied. He lied so much. There's nothing about him you can trust. Yeah, because the day that before, was it the night of? I have to look at. I've got it written down, but he was looking up like the day. So they went missing that morning on the 13th, or supposedly. So that night, while he was at his friend's house, he was looking up Aspen, bed and breakfast at Aspen, things to do in Aspen. I was really, and somebody's like, well, if it would, maybe he was doing it because him and Shanann was going to take a trip to Aspen. Well, he wouldn't be doing it the day after she went missing. He wouldn't be looking for it then. He would have looked for it before. Hi, Ronnie. How are you? Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Ronnie, did you see my little message to you on my last live that I wouldn't scare you too much? Was you able to do the playback and see me say I won't scare you too much, Ronnie? Even at right. Well, you would think, I don't know. Why would you want children unalivers walking around? What makes you think that they would not do that again if they just say, even if they participated in hiding, even if they participated in getting rid of Shanann and the girls. As Shanann's dad said, you threw them out like trash. Um, just say they were responsible for that part. Still, what kind of a person are you that would help? You know what I'm saying? You're still not a good person, and you want to put those people roaming the streets because you think they wouldn't do it again? Please, they would. They would. They have those things on the roof. Yes. Nope. They do not. They do not. And they have gas heating too, so the pipes run along around their ceiling, and there's flames all the way around where the gas runs all the way through, and then they have wood heat. So they don't have like we have. Right. Hello, Cher. You just got home. Cher's getting her tattoo colored in. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes. No, I didn't see it, but I'll go watch it. I will say, every time I go outside at night, I pray that I don't see those kids, right? The black eyed kids, right? Right? Uh huh. Well, this was about the Mothman, and he's not really scary as far as a bad thing. He's more like an omen, like to warn you of something. Um, but yeah, yeah, yep, yep. I'm pretty sure it was that live. I said, hopefully this won't be too scary, Ronnie. It might have been the one before, but I think it was that one. All right, so we're gonna go over here. I'm gonna add it to the stage. We're gonna go over here. We're gonna pick up from where we left off before. Um, so she's gonna get on our nerves again today. But if we want to hear her part of the story and see her part of the investigation, um, just to know her side of it, if there is one, and why she's so irritating. And I did put the link to this video in my description, and then Eve just dropped it. Thank you, Eve. So that way we have credit goes to them. This is a great channel, and they have put everything out there for you to see it, so it's good. All right, let me get over here. Make it big. All right, prepare to be irritated.
You want to make sure before you leave you see Hazel. You need to get some help.
I know, I've been asking. Oh, so he was talking for a few weeks, like
Give me a time frame.
Okay. So he went to North Carolina. When he came back from North Carolina, I was informed sometime either when he was on the trip or when he was like getting back, but in that area, that they filed for divorce, and that they were gonna put the house up for sale, and he was like, she's the one that called the realtor, because he told me that he had spoke to her when he was in North Carolina about it, and then the next day she was the one who called the realtor.
When you say Shanann?
Yes.
Well, we know that's a lie. We know that's a lie because in the text that Shanann was sending to her friends, there was nothing like that when they came back. There was no talk of divorce. None of that. None of that. So we know that part is a lie. Now, I'm not saying she's lying to the detectives, but I don't think Chris told her that. In my opinion, I don't think he told her that, because if he did, she's dumb. Because you don't file for divorce in a state you don't live in, not normally. I mean, because then you're going to have 2 sets of lawyers, I would think, because state laws are different. So I wouldn't think now if you're in one state and they're in the other, residency wise, then you can. But I don't think if you're from Colorado, you can file for divorce in North Carolina. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But she should have known better. So I think that's a whole bunch of tomfoolery. My opinion. We give them credit by dropping their link in chat. We appreciate you letting us use your videos. Thank you very much, Eve. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I don't know how to. I appreciate that. Thank you. If I could pin it, I would. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know how to pin it. Oh, yep. Hey, Cher. Yep, she's in there. She might be running around just listening in the home state. See, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. So that if that is true and he said that to her and she believed him, she's done for believing him. Because I thought you had to file, and they're both from Colorado. They're just visiting in North Carolina. And they couldn't have filed when they got back because she didn't have time to do that. Because she went to Arizona right after they got back, like a day or two after. She didn't have time to do that. And it was not even, that was not even a thing. She never talked about how they filed for divorce. And she would have told her friends that. So this is either a bunch of BS from Nicole, BS from Chris, or BS from both of them. But I don't believe, I honestly don't believe he told her that. I think this is something she made up. That's just my opinion.
And when you say the time frame they came back from North Carolina, you don't remember the specific dates, but it was like the first or second week of August?
Yeah, I think I told you guys when they left. I think he left on Tuesday, the 31st of July.
I do remember you saying that.
And I don't remember when he came home. I really don't.
Oh my
I
God.
don't remember if it was like.
So is this a phone conversation or is
Seriously?
it a text conversation?
No,
Yes, you did.
this happened over the phone, and he told me that, that was when I had said, hey, when you go to North Carolina, I really think you should try to fix things with your wife. And he kept asking, well, what about us? And I was trying to kind of take a step back and see if he would fix things before attempting to pursue things with me, because I wanted to know that if all of these things he's saying, like, yes, we're getting separated, and yes, you know, all of these things that he's saying are happening, I wanted to know that it was like, you were doing this like you said you were prior to me coming in your life, and it had nothing to do with me, you know? And so for me, it was like, I really wanted them to fix it. I would have just, like, left the situation.
So tell me why.
Really? How many of y'all believe she would have just walked away if he'd have said, I want to repair everything? How many of y'all think she would have just walked away? Right, exactly. That wasn't even in the a topic of that was never, I don't think, in a topic of conversation until right there at the end, because Shanann was trying to fix it. Now, was it too late on some of the things she wanted to do? Yeah. Because the thing is, maybe she was controlling and maybe she was overbearing, and that's just her personality, and maybe there were some things she was going to work on. She said, I will work on those things. You know, she was willing to work on them. She was willing to go to counseling. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do none of that. But divorce was not even an option. They weren't even talking about divorce in North Carolina. They wasn't talking about it when they came back. So, yeah. Uh, yeah, she wouldn't I don't think she would have just walked away. Because if you would have just walked away, why did you even start it? You're not going to invest that much time and energy into somebody that's married and just walk away. Because she looked up I mean, she Googled a lot of stuff, and it was on Dr. Phil's interview. She Googled, I think I talked about it last time, but she Googled, uh, sh- where is it at? That's about the text message. Man I'm having an affair with says he will divorce his wife. Why would you Google that? What? I mean, yeah. Man I'm having an affair with says he will leave his wife. She looked up Amber Fry. She looked up Amber Fry's book. So you would not have left. You would not have left. You would not have left. Yeah, she was no. I don't believe that. In my opinion, I don't think she would have just told him, okay. She would have, if he'd have told her that, it would have ended up being like a fatal attraction kind of crap. You know, that's that's the kind of thing. It would have been like she would have ended up like stalking Shanann and harassing Shanann and worse than she already did because I think she wanted to be her is what I think. I think she wanted to be her. Um so I think she's a fatal attraction kind of person. Just my opinion. Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna have to keep me quiet. Yeah. Yeah. She is. She's a pathological liar. I mean, it's interesting, um, because also, we were talking about if Eve, you're talking about if she would just come forward and just tell her side of the story. Um, she changed her name, but Amber Fry never changed her name. She kept her name. I'm assuming she got married, but she kept her name. She never changed her name. And Nicole's like, it's because of all of the hate. Well, yes, because the story has gotten out, the lies have gotten out, so we know. And I really told it, yeah, yep, it sure would have. And do you know there is Scout, there is their proof that they used Skype and that they used Snapchat. But at the time of the investigation, according to investigators, they didn't have the resources to go in and search Snapchat and Skype. I think it's called. They didn't have the methods to do that. Now they have the methods to do that. So are they going to? Are they going to? Are they going to look into their Skype and their Snapchat messages back and forth and stuff? Can is there anything to retrieve? Isn't Snapchat, don't they like delete stuff? But I mean, I guess you could still get it. But that was their excuse for not going into that. One, he pled guilty, and two, they didn't have the resources or the technology to get into that stuff. Now they do, which is 8 years later. They probably do. So, do you think they're going to try that? You think they're going to get it go in there? It's when I started to be more familiar with it. So the little I know, I call bullshit in this interview. Yep. She should have been further investigated. Absolutely. 100%. 100,050%. And they said she wasn't because he pled guilty. Well, why did he plead guilty so quick if somebody else was involved? I don't believe it was to keep from getting the death penalty. They can say that, but I don't believe that. I believe and feel, in my opinion, that he was forced into doing that because I think there was connections that forced him into doing that. That's my opinion. Because they already had him over the barrel killing Shanann. So now they didn't want her drug in it. So basically they had him by the you know what. Hi witchy mama. I like that smooch it, bop it, flick it, tap it, dance on it. Oh, that's right. Thank you, witchy mama. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't know she got married or anything, but she never changed it the whole time. You know what I mean? She did not go, she came out, proved her point, and that was it. And Nicole hasn't done any of that. Right. She didn't because she truly didn't know about him. Or about Lacey. And the stuff that's coming out that was hidden from the prosecution, um, they say there's evidence about the cement block that was made. He made those, but he made more than one, and then there's other evidence. So um yeah, hopefully he stays right where he's at. Hopefully he stays right where he's at. Okay, no problem. When was her daddy allowed? That is a good question. We have no idea why he was allowed in there. And he was like, when the detective would ask stuff, he would tell him, watch it now. Careful. I mean, he would like bully the detective into not asking the right questions. He sure would. We would all like to know why she was allowed in there because she's grown. She's a grown ass woman. Hmm. Hold on just a second. Let's see. Let's go. Yeah, there's got to be connection somewhere between the DA and him, and there's got to be a reason they allowed so much leeway for her and let him in there. He's not a lawyer. If he was a lawyer, I could see it. If he's a lawyer, I could see it, but he's not a lawyer. He's not that I know of. He may be, but I don't think he is.
Shanann calling a realtor and him mentioning that they were going to be divorced. Why do you think it's important?
Because so after that, he was like, she's the one who called the realtor. And I remember I was like, damn, that was fast. Because I knew he told me, like, we were going to put the house up, but they said, he was like, we didn't know how much to offer for it, and we were kind of trying to find somebody. And it, like, so for the first few weeks that I hung out with him, he kind of, like, dragged his feet on, hey, this is happening. And then after North Carolina, he's like, yeah, she wants to put the house up. She's the one that called the realtor. And I was, like, kind of taken back, not necessarily at the speed of it, given how long he said that they'd been separating, but the fact that she did it like the day after he supposedly sat down and had a conversation with her about, hey, do we fix this or do we not fix this relationship?
So do you remember how many days she was back in Colorado before leaving? Mm-hmm. Do you know that?
Because I don't remember when they got home.
Right.
I don't.
I'm just trying to get your memory jogged there on that. But so this was, they get home, he had told you in North Carolina that they agreed to
Mhm.
and they're finalized their relationship.
Yeah, it's,
They get home and she immediately wants to sell the house.
yes. And then, so, I mean, I started thinking, okay, well, I know in Colorado, houses sell very fast here. So I was like, what's your plan? You know, and I was like, because you might want to be prepared. And I remember that's when the whole concept came up of you probably need to start looking for a new place pretty quick. And that was when he was kind of overwhelmed with it. And I told him, I was like, look, like I just moved a few months ago. And I was like, to find a place that was comfortable for me, it was like, it took like a lot of research. And that's when I offered to help. I was like, I'll help you. And he seemed pretty gung ho about it for like the first week. And he seemed very grateful. And I was putting in work on it. And I was like calling him and kind of letting him know about places. And there really wasn't that many options in Brighton. I found one. I actually texted it to myself before I texted it to him because I still have that in my phone too. Because I found it and it was great, but it was like right at the beginning of my search, and I was like, I don't want to inundate him.
So you said a week. Do you think you worked on that for a week?
No, I honestly only probably spent like a few hours over a few days and just trying to like line it up.
I'm just trying to think about how many days she had been back while you were working on that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
So you said, did you actually work on it for a week straight?
No.
Okay.
It was just like a couple days after work. I would just like spend a couple hours if I had time, like at the end of my day, or if I didn't go to the gym, and just sit down. And I mean, I can give you a date on one that I worked on because I texted that one to myself. This one, I love this one. When is this? Saturday, August 11th.
That's the night you guys went out?
Yeah.
To the lazy dog.
Yes.
Or the two lazy dogs. All right. What else?
Yeah, so the reason that this is important is because he, like, up to that point, seemed like he was all about it, you know, and I was respecting him. I wasn't like, oh, you need to get this.
So she just said they went to the lazy dog. How many times did they get the lazy dog must have been their go-to because the week when Shanann went on her Arizona trip, they went to the lazy dog, and that's what alerted Shanann to he might be having an affair because the ticket was so high. So it sounds like they went to the lazy dog. Let me go back and look at that again. Because it sounds like
Yeah, so the reason that this is important is because he, like, up to that point, seemed like he was all about it, you know, and I was respecting him. I wasn't like, oh, you need to get this.
let's go back further. There, we'll start there.
That's the night you guys went out?
Yeah.
To
Let's go that far back.
Or if I didn't go to the gym and just sit down, and I mean, I can give you a date on one that I worked on because I texted that one to myself. This one, I love this one. When is this? Saturday, August 11th.
That's the night you guys went out?
Yep, that's August 11th.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
To the lazy dog.
Yes.
Or the two
see,
lazy dogs.
There you go. There's the answer to that right there. It was him and her there. I mean, we knew that already, and Shanann knew that already. Knew that he was, she thought he was having an affair, but that's proof right there that it was her and him there. She was right. You know, he wasn't there with a friend. She knew he was there with Nicole. So they were together while she was gone. So if this is somebody that wants him to work on a marriage, why are you there? Why are you there? Why are you there?
All right. What else?
Yeah, so the reason that this is important is because he, like, up to that point, seemed like he was all about it, you know, and I was respecting him. I wasn't like, oh, you need to get this, you need to get that. I was like, what city do you want to live in? What side of town is she staying in? You know, how close do you want to be to work? How close do you want to be to your kids? I mean, I asked him everything. I just wanted him to have something that was accommodating for his whole family. And he told me that she was probably going to stay in the Frederick area, but he never said for sure. The first time I asked him, he's like, I don't know where she's going to go, but she'll probably stay in this area. And I was like, Chris, if you're gonna get an apartment, like, you need to figure that out, because the last thing you want is to be like an hour drive from your kids. It's like, you know, you gotta be close. And so, I ended up asking him again, like a couple days later, and that was when, he was like, I think she's staying in the Frederick area, and I was like, okay. And that's when I was like, starting to get details, like, where, and if you guys find my text, you'll see it, where I'm asking, like, where do you wanna live? Like, how close do you wanna be to work? Those things, like, you know, um, do you care what gym you go to? Like, what are you looking for, you
We
know?
talked
And
about this previously.
yeah. So the thing was, is he was like super gung ho about it, and then on Saturday, that day, I remember being outside with him when this conversation happened, but I don't know where. I don't know if we were like walking into the restaurant or walking to the car, but I like vaguely remember being outside with him. And I was like, he had told me that he wanted to go look at some places.
Okay. So that tells me that they were probably in Shanann's car because she says, I can't remember where we were at exactly, but we were walking to the car. It's funny how some stuff she can't remember where she's at, but she remembers all these long, detailed conversations. That kind of drives me nuts. But she says we were walking back to the car. So they probably went in Shanann's car and they were together Friday and Saturday. So I'm wondering, because she's saying this was Friday night and then Saturday we were together again. So this is not somebody that was willing to back away. And then she says, so if they were together Friday night and that was the game night, and then they were together Saturday, where were the kids? Is she talking about Saturday night? Like it only tells you of one night that Chris had a babysitter. So where were the kids on Saturday when they were with where were the kids at on Saturday when she was with him? Because we only know of the one night they went out that Chris got the babysitter. So if he was with her again the next day, where were the kids? Do y'all see what I'm saying? That's what I'm asking myself because I just now I'm hearing that Saturday was the babysitter, but she just said they were together Friday night. I'll go back and listen to that again and make sure I heard her right. But I could have swore she said Friday night we were at the Lazy Dog. So I would have to look back. August 11th they were at the Lazy Dog. August 12th would have been Saturday. And then August 13th was the day Shanann flew in. She flew in the morning of the 13th. So August 12th was Saturday, the babysitter. So who had them Friday? If they were together Friday, who had them? Nope. His parents weren't. They live in North Carolina. Nope. Let's go back and see if I'm pretty sure that's what she said. So I know August 11th they were at the Lazy Dog because she said that. So that would have had to have been Friday. And then the 12th was Saturday. Um, see.
Okay, see, we got so much going on, I texted her.
No, that's too far back.
Supposedly sat down and had a conversation with her about, hey, do we fix this or do we not fix this relationship?
So do you remember how many days she was back in Colorado before leaving?
Mm-mm.
Do you know that?
Because I don't remember when they got home.
Right.
I don't.
I'm just trying to get your memory jogged there on that. But so this was, they get home, he had told you in North Carolina that they agreed to and they're finalized their relationship.
Yeah.
They get home and she immediately wants to sell the house.
Yes. And then, so, I mean, I started thinking, okay, well, I know in Colorado houses sell very fast here. So I was like, what's your plan? You know, and I was like, because you might want to be prepared. And I remember that's when the whole concept came up of, you probably need to start looking for a new place pretty quick. And that was when he was kind of overwhelmed with it. And I told him, I was like, look, like I just moved a few months ago. And I was like, to find a place that was comfortable for me, it was like, it took like a lot of research. And that's when I offered to help. I was like, I'll help you. And he seemed pretty gung-ho about it for like the first week. And he seemed very grateful. And I was putting in work on it. And I was like calling him and kind of letting him know about places. And there really wasn't that many options in Brighton. I found one. I actually texted it to myself before I texted it to him because I still have that in my phone too. Because I found it and it was great, but it was like right at the beginning of my search. And I was like, I don't want to inundate him.
So you said a week. Do you think you worked on that for a week?
No, I only probably spent like a few hours over a few days and just trying to like line it up.
Just trying to think about how many days she had been back while you were working on that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
So you said, did you actually work on it for a week straight?
No. It was just like a couple days after work. I would just like spend a couple hours if I had time, like at the end of my day, or if I didn't go to gym, and just sit down. And I mean, I can give you a date on one that I worked on because I texted that one to myself. This one, I loved this one. When is this? Saturday, August 11th.
That's the day.
Okay, so August 11th is Saturday.
Yeah.
To the lazy dog.
Yes.
Or the two lazy dogs.
Yes.
All right. What else?
Yeah, so the reason that this is important is because he, like, up to that point, seemed like he was all about it, you know, and I was respecting him. I wasn't like, oh, you need to get this, you need to get that. I was like, what city do you want to live in? What side of town is she staying in? You know, how close do you want to be to work? How close do you want to be to your kids? I mean, I asked him everything. I just wanted him to have something that was accommodating for his whole family. And he told me that she was probably going to stay in the Frederick area, but he never said for sure. The first time I asked him, he's like, I don't know where she's going to go, but she'll probably stay in this area. And I was like, Chris, if you're going to get an apartment, like, you need to figure that out, because the last thing you want is to be like an hour drive from your kids. It's like, you know, you gotta be close. And so, I ended up asking him again, like a couple days later, and that was when, he was like, I think she's staying in the Frederick area. And I was like, okay. And that's when I was like, started to get details, like, where, and if you guys find my text, you'll see it, where I'm asking, like, where do you want to live? Like, how close do you want to be to work? Those things, like, you know, do you care what gym you go to? Like, what are you looking for? You know,
we talked about this previously.
Yeah. So the thing was he was like super gung-ho about it. And then on Saturday, that day, I remember being outside with him when this conversation happened, but I don't know where. I don't know if we were like walking into the restaurant or walking to the car, but I like vaguely remember being outside with him. And I was like, he had told me that he wanted to go look at some places the upcoming week. And we were supposed to go do that on Wednesday. And I was like, I asked him, I was like, what places do you want to go see? And I was like, did you really like that place that I showed you? Because it was just like super convenient for everything. And it had a little playground and it had a pool. Like it would have been awesome for his kids. And it was cheap. And so, and it was like close to Frederick. It was like, it was close to the gym. It was close to work. It was close to me. It was close to everything. And it was
Hear that? It was close to me. It was close to me. Wonder where kids were that. I mean, yeah, I mean, because she just said, I thought she said in there, we talked on Friday. So does that mean, um, were you talking on the phone? How were you talking? You know what I mean? What were you talking? Were you talking like on the phone or were you talking? Like, were you together? Were you talking? Sounds. Yeah. Sounds like she was perfect. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then you would be near me. Then you would be near me. Wonder how she feels now that all her best laid plans were all for nothing and she doesn't compare to she never, yeah, she doesn't, no, she's not as pretty as Shanann to me, but, and I'm not just basing that on her personality and what she's done either. I'm not.
Brighton, which is what he wanted. And so, I was like, did you want to go check that place out? And he's like, yeah, I guess. And he like didn't seem sure anymore. And that was the part that I wanted to tell you. I just figured I'd give you all the backstory.
Sure.
Sure,
So
because you like
He's
words
not
out.
sure about the particular apartment or about even leaving.
So he told me that he looked at it and he told me that he thought it was nice, but it didn't really seem like his interest was that piqued. And I was like, well, did you find anything that you really wanted to look at? And he told me, yeah, that he found a few, but nothing that really, really piqued his interest. And I was like, well, you might want to get started. And he's like, well, I found one. And I asked him, I said, which one is it? Because I think I've looked at like every apartment in Brighton and maybe I'll remember it. And he's like, I don't know, I don't remember the name of it. And he kind of just like disregarded it. And it was kind of strange to me because like the whole week prior, he was like so excited that I was trying to help him because he's busy, I'm busy. So I was like, you look, I'll look, let's see if we can try to narrow it down to like 4 or 5 spots and then we'll find something that's good for you and your girls. You know, and he seemed like very enthusiastic about it, like during the week when the conversations first really started ramping up about like, you probably got to figure something out because that house is going to sell really fast.
So why doesn't he ask her, just out of curiosity, why doesn't he ask her how many times were y'all physically together before Shanann, while Shanann was gone? Why doesn't he ask her that? Like, he should be asking her, okay, all these conversations that you're having about finding him a place, are they text messages? Do you ever discuss this in person? Um, that's my thing is I don't hear him asking her how many times were they physically together. He's not asking her that. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah. No, very calculated. Very.
You know, or at least be prepared. And
So
so,
why do you think he was removed or not interested on your Saturday night, wherever you guys were?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes like I think about these things and I feel like they're all assumptions, but at that point, like maybe he already knew something that I didn't. I don't know. But it was just a complete mood change where
Mm-hmm.
he just didn't even seem that interested. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, we don't have to do that on Wednesday if you don't want to. And he's like, no, I know I need to get it done. And I was like, all right.
So that
You know,
tells you right there. She says, "Well, we can do it on Wednesday." Well, that was what the Wednesday after Shanann came back, because this was on Saturday, on August 11th, on Saturday that they were talking about this. So That was Wednesday. She's talking about showing him on the following Wednesday, which means Shanann is home, which means she has no intention of not seeing him while they're getting a supposedly they've got their divorce papers started and they're going to put the house up for sale. She has no intentions of backing off until that gets settled. She's going to see him next Wednesday and go look for apartments. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah. So that I agree. I agree. So that's what I'm hearing. So the back off you would do, you're not doing. Because you could have easily told him, "Nope, she's back. Y'all need to figure it out," and you could have backed off. So she really was not willing to back off. She really wasn't. I don't really care what she says about that. I don't believe she was. Because she's willing to go with him the following Wednesday. She's like, we were going to go on Wednesday. Well, this is Saturday, and you're talking about Wednesday, so that's after Shanann would be home. So you're not trying to back off in any kind of way.
I wasn't gonna like force him to do it. If he doesn't want to do it, don't do it. Just say no, And I was like, and for me, I was like, I was just offering to help because it's like I know what a tedious task it is trying to find a new place to live.
Right. What else? Any other new info?
That part where he was just like really unplugged on Saturday, and then there was something else that went with that. Let me just think for a minute. It was
Yeah, thanks for
I
making
didn't write all
something
of
up.
that. I just wrote that part down.
Make it up, girl. Make it up. Think on your feet or on your butt.
I can't believe I can't remember all this stuff.
Sure.
Yeah,
It
you
blows my mind
remember
that it,
so
like,
much stuff already.
slowly comes to me all the time. Well, some of the stuff is just things that you would never think about. Now that I'm like,
That's shit you make up.
2020,
Right.
I'm like starting to go back. There was something else that happened on Saturday that had to do with all of this.
Oh yeah.
Think about it for a minute. I'm going to see if
Mhm.
that guy has his
Do that.
equipment charged.
The hour and
Just phone
11
taken
minute
care of.
phone call you had.
So again,
Did you forget
I'm
about
gonna have
that?
you sign this voluntary consent.
Yep.
It's the same thing that you signed in Thornton saying that, I didn't threaten you, intimidate you. You have a right to say no. I want you to read the document again. We're going to take your phone. We're going to use a program called Celebrate. If you go to your phone store, that's what they use. Sometimes they used to do this. They used to move your stuff back and forth. It's the same thing. They're going to take that information, and then an examiner who is skilled in looking at cell phone data is going to look at it to try to recover the deleted memory.
So this goes back to my when I was telling y'all earlier that she looks stuff up. So after this interview, she goes. I forget my handy dandy notebook. It's red, but my next one's blue. She looked up one more page. 2 more pages, maybe. She looked up where is it at? It was about the cell phone. Let me see if I can find it. Give me just a second. Okay, here it is. Can cops trace text messages? That was one thing she looked up. How long do telephone companies keep text messages? That was the other thing she looked up. The difference between a text message content and a text message detail. That's what she looked up. And she did that after this interview. So you can kind of see her head is tilted to the side. You can kind of see if you watch her mannerisms, like that's when she's really worried about something, or that's when she's like, how can I get out of this? Or she's trying to figure out, like, oh crap, this is where they may discover something that I'm lying about or that I've hidden. She looked up all three of those things. And I got that from Dr. Phil's interview that he did with, I believe it was Shanann's parents. Yeah, she did. Yep. Yes, she did. Yeah, see how her head is. I feel like if you watch her, anytime she cocks that head to the side, it's kind of like she's like, "Oh shit." You know, I'm trying to figure out, what am I going to do? How am I going to get out of this? Like, are you freaking kidding me? Can they really do that kind of thing? Calls and texts both ping, towers don't difference. Yeah, her phone pinged in Frederick at I think it was 6 o'clock or 6:08 or something like that on August 13th, that morning. She said that they said that she was just going to work, but her phone has never pinged there before ever again. It pinged there once, and that's the only time it has ever pinged there, ever. And it was on the morning that Shanann and them were unalived. That's the only morning it was, because going that way is out of her way from where she lives to go to work. So that was the only time it ever pinged there, was that one time. Uh, there's nothing not fishy about that. Nothing not fishy about that. 5 hours on Saturday. Very good, Scout. Thank you. He left his home at 5. Yep. And got home after. Yep. That's right. He stopped at a convenience store to get money at the ATM. Yep. And I don't know if it was my last live or the one before, we talked about the babysitter. And she said, I got her stuff in here. Hold on. And then I need a book. Where have I got her written down at? The babysitter. Yeah, here it is. Okay. He called her dad, and him are friends. That's how she became the babysitter. And that's the only time she's ever babysat. Um, what time did she say he left? She said he left about 4:45 and got back at 10:30. And that's when her mama was there to pick her up. And because they asked her, did she know the vehicle he left in? And she said no, she didn't know the vehicle he left in, because when uh, he got ready to leave, he asked her to go stay with the girls, so they wouldn't see him leave, because they would get upset. And then when he was supposed to be home at 10. He got home at 10:30, and her mom got there at 10 to pick her up, and had to wait on him to get there, and she was waiting in the car. So when the investigator asked her, "Well, what vehicle did he come? She's like, "I didn't see the vehicle, but my mom did." And supposedly the conversation cuts off, and we don't get to hear what the mom says. So, but we all know the answer, because she just said we were at the Lazy Dog. So we know that they were together. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, she had to be there. But yeah, very good, Scout. Very good. Yep. Very good. That's true. That is true. Hi, Appalachia Skies. How are you, lovely? How are you doing? Are you back from camping? Having dinner, but listening. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Why didn't it ping the other times? NK was, I don't know. Isn't that weird? Um, the cameras. So I have so much to talk about those stupid cameras. So next door is, I call him Nosy Nate, but thank goodness he was there. He had cameras that were pointing out to the front of his house, but they got the driveway of Chris's house. Okay. We only see the one video that Nate has provided because that is all they will allow us to see. In that video, I'm going to find it so I can show everybody. In that video, you can clearly see somebody else other than Chris coming out because the person looks taller and built different, and you can kind of see a ponytail. In my opinion, Nate has way more footage than law enforcement ever let us see. I believe he's got footage from other times that she was there because his camera was always running. So, and he told the law enforcement, he's like, well, there was a couple of days that Shanann's car was parked on the side of the road, like, you know, if you've seen their houses in a big subdivision, and the little where you can park right in front of the little bit of grass that's there. But Chris's truck always stayed out there like that, and hers was always in the garage. He never parked on the concrete because it leaked, and they didn't want it on the concrete, HOA and stuff. So for hers to be out overnight, parked out, was a big thing for me, and I just kind of felt like that's because Nicole's vehicle was there, and they had to hide it. So they would put hers where Shanann's car was at and put Shanann's out on the road. Why else would it be out there? Right? So that's why I think Nate has more video footage that the police have. Now, the Vivint camera that's on the inside of the house, I think they've got evidence too, because I had a Vivint security system at one time. I had mine in 2013. And the panel on the wall, from your phone, you can go into that panel and look in your house whenever you want to. Because I could, because I had dogs. So when I was working, I would go in there and look and check on my dogs to make sure they were, because they had a dog door, but I was making sure, they were coming in and out and they didn't get out of the fence or anything like that. And you can record from there. I could on my panel, and I could also do hit an emergency button, and it would automatically call law enforcement if I was near it. So, and motion would set it. If you had it set for motion, like some type of motion would set it off. So I feel like that Vivint camera had more information also that law enforcement has that we probably won't get to see. That's my opinion. I also feel like because at one point while Shanann was gone, this was when she's in North Carolina, the Vivint was messing up. So probably what was happening was Chris was disabling it so Nicole could walk around in the house so Shanann didn't see him. Otherwise, why would he care if the security systems work and if somebody's walking around in the house? you wouldn't see them just because your security systems in the house doesn't mean you can just it would just it doesn't just automatically be like um live right then. You know what I mean? You actually have to go through your app and tap into it, and then it's live. So what I'm saying is, why would he be worried about her seeing Nicole in there if that wasn't an option? So I feel like that was an option for them. Was Shanann could go into that app and just look in her house and see what's going on. Um, so when it was down, she told him, "You need to get that fixed. You need to get that fixed." So it probably also messed with her looking in the monitors and the kids, because that's also a thing she could do. She could go in her phone and look at the monitors and see the girls. She could also do that. I'm assuming she could do that still in North Carolina. Assuming from Arizona, she could do that. So that's why I think there's a lot more footage than we're ever going to see, and there's a lot more. They know Nicole's extent of involvement, and they're protecting her. That's my opinion. You know, um, yeah, yeah. She'd have got a lot of because I got notifications on mine. I mean, my dog. We were asleep one night, and my dog, not the dog I have now, but my dog pulled. We had a bunch of. It was Thanksgiving, and we put all the bones in a bowl on the top of the refrigerator, and we were going to get rid of them. And he pulled that bowl off of the stove, and it went everywhere. And of course, it alerted the sheriff's department, and you could see the video clearly, the motion video of him pulling it off there. So she would get notices, because I got a notice on my phone. She would get notices. So yeah, yep. Appalachia Skies, yes, go to her link. She does camping, hiking. She does a lot of cool stuff. She has a lot of animal interactions she puts on there. It's a great channel. That's right. She's having dinner. I wonder what she made. What did you make? Yep. Yep. I feel like I don't know if this has anything to do with it. Maybe they were planning on it anyway, but right after this, they moved. They sold their house and moved. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Everybody knows she was there. And I think she was the September lady too. Yep. Right to iCloud. Yep. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that maybe if another DA gets in there, they'll take another look at the case. That would be what I would want to happen. But I don't know how crooked it would be. Yes, she was looking in her phone to see if, yep, and something was wrong. That's why she kept looking in her phone. Yep, I agree, Eve. Yep. Some and you why she didn't give them, there was no bombshell information that she gave them. None. There was no bombshell information she gave. That's BS. Tammy said it best to stop the clock as soon as Chris played. Yeah, they did. They sure did. Yep. And why did they do that? I mean, why? I don't believe it was. I do not believe that it was to prevent him from getting the death penalty. I don't believe that. because the Rusiks didn't want him to get the death penalty. So I don't think he would have got it anyway. I think that's just. I think that was just that was their excuse for him pleading guilty. But I don't think that's. I think that's bullshit. Yeah. Yep. Mhm. Hi, Claudia. Hi. Chef salad and mozzarella sticks. Hey, that's all right. Too hot to cook. Yes, it is. Like we were just talking about how hot it is with you, Mama. You wasn't in here. You was not in here. We talking about how hot it was. Yes, it is hot. We're having leftovers. That's just how I feel like I got something in my eye like a piece of fuzz or something like you. Yes. Oh, hey, that's all right. Hey, did you get you a cocktail with it too? Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Sounds good and refreshing, you know what I mean? And not too filling cuz when it's hot, man, you don't want I don't see no reason to protect her either. I agree. One way or the other she was part of it. Because if you're somebody that wants to step back, like she said, you wouldn't be talking to him 2 days before she comes home, and you wouldn't be planning on showing him apartments the next week. That's not somebody that's willing to step back. That's right. That's right. That is the best part of it. You know what's Appalachia Skies having? You know she's going to outdo us. Smoked some ribs and brisket. Nice. It took you a while to smoke that brisket, didn't it? Brisket's good, though. Brisket is 83 in the house. It ain't 80. Well, it might. I don't know what it is in my shed out here. Oh, no. AC is out. Well, Claudia, it is hot here. It is 90 degrees and our humidity is 60. I think it's 67% or something like that. It is hot. Hotter than pea soup. Oh, all 3 units. Goodness. House full of boys. Yeah, too many deviled. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Crop dusting, bomb busting. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Poor Zora. She's going to be like, what? What? What's all these noises? I can't do it. Might take a week, but I can eat a large part of the brisket. Hey, yeah, we were in the same boat, Claudia. Yeah, and you know it all. It's not like you can get it to go out in the winter because you don't need your air in the winter. So you don't know that you're going to need your air until you turn it on when it's hot and you don't have no air. That's what sucks. You don't have no you don't have no choice but to wait till the summer. You know what I mean? Hey, I need to lose some weight. But I just, I have a sauna. I don't have to pay for it. I just step outside and I have my free sauna and I can hang out for 30 minutes like somebody else would regularly in a sauna and I'm good because I will have had my sauna for the day. Yep, that helps. Frozen water bottle. Yep. Virtual cocktails. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I don't drink either. I have a glass of wine every once in a while, but that's it. 3-story house. Those are hard to keep cool. Over 90 this week in Minnesota. Even I know that's what I was just saying earlier about. I was like, man, if you have a hound dog, they don't like to move, but they really ain't gonna move now. You can forget it. That hound dog ain't going nowhere. Also believe Jim was part of it too. He could be her alibi. Yep. Yep. Because I believe that there was more than just NK and Chris there. And I believe it took more than just them two to help with everything, if you get what I mean. So I agree. I agree. Leave Jim alone was there. Because, it's been said, I don't know if it's true or not, but it was said that there was, and I think Chris said it. So it could be a lie, but it would not surprise me because I guess it came from text messages or something, but anyway, that they liked. He said she liked doing weird things. She was kind of weird, and she liked doing weird things, and threesomes. Hound dog probably not even gonna scratch. You right. That's what I have in my shed, Nikki. I added one of those. It may not. I don't think it's that. It's not that brand, but I added one to my shed because I have been through 3 ACs out here since I've had this studio, and so to help the one that I have this year, I put one of those portable ones in here, and the tube is like this big around probably, and it goes connects to the back and then goes out the window and vents out the window, and it's done. I mean, it gets nice in here. I can set it on 60 if I want to. And with the other one, I mean, it helps the other one not work so hard. You know what I mean? Yep. That's what I got. I think I've got something like that. It may not be that brand, but I got it. Yep. Yep. And I have a fan going on top of that to circulate the air. Yep. Yeah. Yep. And my other one was working. Like I said, I've been through 3 of the window units, and Will's like, let's get something to help that one, and maybe it'll last. It won't have to work as hard. Because I would have to go outside literally, because it gets this hot here. I would have to go outside and get the water hose and squirt it into the back of the AC to cool down the condenser. So it would start blowing cold air again. So 3 of those bitches. 3 I've been through. Yeah. So, all right, let's go listen to Nasal Nose over here. Yeah.
Material that we're after.
I hope
So,
that they can
The
get
deleted material is what I'm after.
I know it is. I feel so bad that I did that. I didn't even honestly, that's not even what I was thinking about. I was just did not want, any presence from him.
So you're okay with us doing
Just
everything?
take the whole phone,
Awesome.
just take it, because I feel like we've been
I'm
trying to
gonna
do
put
this.
all data on here,
Yeah,
just for ease,
take what
okay?
you need,
So read that and make sure you sign it, that you understand that we're gonna take all the data. Once I have all that stuff, I'll get your phone back to you.
That's
Okay?
okay. I mean, I'm not even gonna use it anymore. I'm gonna just use this.
Okay, I'm gonna still get it back to you as soon as we're done,
Okay,
all right? So next week sometime maybe,
okay,
or the week after or something somewhere in that time frame. Okay?
okay.
All right, relax for a minute, I'll be back in a sec.
I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
See, she's coming out with a plan. Look at her. I got it. I got it. Now I know how I'm going to get out of those. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Uh, mm, 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 mm. If you live in a condo or house, check out those units. They use less electricity and are much cheaper in a new unit. Ah, so it's even different than what I'm using. Doesn't need a window or a vent. That's nice. She is such an evil woman. Look at her now. Oh, I've got it. I've got it. Yeah, because now she's got a good lie. She's had time to think up a lie. So here we're fixing to hear one. Um, yeah, probably what she's going to say is, yeah, I was remembering what I wanted to say about Saturday, but I bet you she's got what she's thinking is, I got my lie all worked out. Hmm. Heifer.
I remembered, by the way. I got it
Remember what?
in my head, what I needed to tell you.
Okay.
Okay, so, hi.
Hi, I'm Matt.
I'm
Hi.
Nikki.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Hello.
So this is my original phone
Okay.
that these guys would like to have.
Mhm.
I have a lot of contacts on here that are not on the phone that I'm currently transferring to, like a lot of them.
Uh-huh.
I need some of them.
Right.
It would be greatly appreciated if we could get the contacts from this phone to just go to this phone so that all the text messages and everything have like names and.
Now she's
things
gonna play
Right.
stupid.
so that I can, that's all I want to do. And I went to Verizon to switch to this phone, and all they did was give me this little sheet of paper to follow, which seems very simple, and I'm usually pretty tech savvy, except for the fact that I can't get the App Store to work on this phone, and I can't get the Wi-Fi to work on this phone.
Okay.
How about turning
So
it
that is
on?
the dilemma that I'm in.
All
But
right.
if you would be so kind as to
And
just
be
do
in
that,
their
then I
Wi-Fi.
can give them what they need, and that
I am not good on phone things.
I'm usually pretty.
Most apartment complexes, if I'm not mistaken, give you free Wi-Fi. Starbucks, and you look like a Starbucks girl. You look like you need a good coffee. Uh, you could go to there and get the Wi-Fi going. Just saying.
Tech savvy. After working in the oil field, you gotta get creative out there. Because they have technology, but you're like in the sticks, so everything wants to malfunction.
So are your contacts on this phone synced to the cloud, to the iCloud?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yes, you do. No, stop it.
I mean, some messages came over, so I assume that everything is, but I don't really know.
Everybody knows about iCloud. If you have an iPhone, you know about out. I can't. Okay, I'll be quiet. I just can't. I can't.
So maybe I'm not as tech savvy as I thought.
What'd you remember? You just said you remembered something besides that. Were you,
Oh.
Now
Yeah,
she
I
forgot.
he's an agent. He works with me. He knows about this
I
thing
can
too.
step out if you feel more comfortable.
Oh, no, I mean, what,
It's
I
okay,
don't know,
if-
whatever.
You tell me.
He had a fire stick. He kept talking about, like, you know what a fire stick is?
No.
Okay, you probably do, since you're a tech guy. They're like.
Oh, you mean like an Amazon Fire Stick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so he didn't have it in his possession, but on
Who's he
Saturday.
though, Chris?
Yes. So Chris mentioned to me that on Saturday, that same day, that, oh, because this kind of went hand in hand with the whole, like, apartment talk, because I was like, oh, that apartment that he said he found, that he was like, I was like, well, what's it called? And he's like, I don't remember. And I was like, well, how much is it? He's like, it's close to 1,100. And I was really taken back by that, because I pay more than that, and I don't really have that nice of a place, and it's not a 2-bedroom, it's a 1. So that part kind of seemed odd to me, but I'd seen a few things online that were kind of cheap, and I was just like, all right. And he's like, I'm just trying to cut costs. And I was like, that's cool. I was like, how else are you doing that? And it was just out of curiosity. And he's like, well, I decided to get rid of cable. And I was like, okay. And I was kind of taken back by that too, because he loves sports. Dude, like, lives and breathes football. So I was like, okay. And I was like, that's a good cost to cut back on. And he was like, yeah, I think I can still stream sports via a Fire Stick. And I've heard of those things before. I don't really know a lot about them. Um, but he was saying that he had a buddy working on it already for him.
Who's the
Fire sticks aren't that complicated, are they? I mean, aren't they just plug in and go? I mean, uh, I think. I mean, I think fire sticks are. I think they're to plug and go. I don't. If anybody knows, they can tell me. But I don't have a fire stick. I have like a Roku stick. Aren't they like a Roku stick? Don't you just plug and go with those? I think. Epicooler, you'll be amazed that it works great. Yep. How big are those, Nikki? Are they like? I mean, do you hang them on the wall? Do you set them on the ground? How do those work? Yeah, I didn't think they were that. So, I mean, I don't know how you could be an engineer, or I don't think she's an engineer. Sorry, Nikki. I don't think she's what you are. What she's some kind of environmental thing person, I think. But how can you be work with chemicals and oil and work at big sites like that? For I know she don't work at the sites, but she's on the computer, right? So she does the doesn't she I think she did like the environmental stuff and the safety stuff. How can you do her job and not be tech savvy? I Am I wrong in that? I mean, I need to find out exactly what she was. Okay. Well, I can even work that, and that's not hard. No, it was a coworker on Friday to pick up the fire stick. The coworker met. Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. So see, she's lying about that too. But she's acting like she don't know what a fire stick is. She does. And if you don't think that fire stick don't have something to do with this, I think we're wrong. They're wrong. Because I think they do. Because the fire stick you can save stuff on, correct? I mean, can't you save stuff on a fire stick? Plug it in and set up the account. Okay. That's what I thought. So you can't tell me she doesn't know how they work. She can't tell me she's not tech savvy. Bullshit. Right. Then she wants them to think she knows. That's bullcrap. Yeah. Come on. Just use streaming app. So you put like is it like a like a memory stick? Can you put stuff on it? I mean, I don't understand why the fire stick was so important if it didn't have some kind of significance to what happened. Saved your channels. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna take it. Yeah, see, I don't think didn't know how to figure out the Wi-Fi. I don't think she couldn't figure out the apps on the phone. I don't think if you know that a calculator app is a secret app and you put pictures behind it, you can figure out how to freaking transfer your information. Why didn't she just let them do it? It takes like you can stay there. It takes like 5 minutes to transfer that, and they don't charge you for that. The upper cooler has a few different models. Some you can just put in a desk, stand up towers, or put in a wall. Okay, easy installation. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, but I just no, you're good. You're good. I ask you those questions so they would know for sure. Yeah, how they what they look like. Are they do you set them on the floor? Or do you hang them up on a table? Yeah, I wanted to know. No, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I just don't believe she can't figure it out. I just do not believe it. I, I just, yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. She's like, I don't know. As much as you are a helicopter, Chris Watson about. I mean, why did you ask him to prove where he was the morning that Shanann and the kids were unalived? He went out to the Survey 319 and you made him take a picture and send it to you. So, as much as you helicoptered him, you want to tell me you don't know what he wanted the fire stick for? Go, miss me with that. You're good. I'm interested for sure. I'm glad you shared. Yes, exactly. It exactly with you, Mama. You trust her better than you would anybody else. Yeah. You get on there and order something. I usually don't order something that if it don't have at least 4 stars, and then I kind of side eye it. But the worst thing is to order something 5 star and it comes back and you get back on there and you're like, who gave this a 5 star? I'm going to chew your butt out because guess what? It is not a 5 star. Yeah, yeah. So she knew that. My point is, she knew she's too smart to not to for this bullshit, and they're either playing the part or they're enamored by her or they're stupid. Well, that you could be right on that too. Might have been some nastiness on the fire stick. Yeah. But why did the buddy bring it to him? Why was he giving it to him? Did he loan it to him? Was he giving it? I mean, why didn't he buy his own fire stick? Because he didn't want Shanann to know he had a fire stick. That's why. Or he gave the buddy the money. The buddy went and bought it and then gave it to him. But either way, he was doing it so she wouldn't know he had one. Yeah. Yeah. Men dog, but can't get on. But now that's different. That's different. That's screws and bolts and directions that are probably written by a man. I mean, at least with tech things, you know that if you do her job, you should know technology. You're right. He was sneaky, sneaky. Yeah. Fletch. Yeah, I'm not a carpenter. I'm not. Nor a builder. That's not my thing.
Didn't say, I didn't ask.
Why do you think that's important?
That he had all that set up? I don't know. I mean, it made me believe that.
That he was ready to move out? Is that?
Oh, I
He's
get what
ready
you're
to
saying.
go?
Yeah, like he was prepping. It still sounded like he was
Okay.
prepping. I mean, everything he did sounded like he was getting ready for everything to happen. The only thing that I found really peculiar about the whole situation was the fact that he just kind of seemed disconnected about the apartment thing on Saturday, whereas in previous conversations, he was the one who brought it up, and he was the one who seemed really excited about it when I offered to help him do some like legwork on trying to find him a spot for him and his girls.
Well, it's
Right.
probably disconnected because y'all were gonna
Okay.
not need a 3-bedroom
So
apartment.
I don't know who his friend was. It was just weird because
Yes,
sometimes
you
it
do.
seemed
Stop
like
it.
some of the things he said, he was still really,
Stop it.
a lot of things he said made sense. And
No, it
still to
didn't.
this day makes sense. And then other things that he said don't make sense at all to me anymore. Or like they changed, you know?
Fair. Well, you know a lot more now. Well, unfortunately, you know a lot more now about terrible things that may have happened that changed the way you're thinking about what he said too. So making you think differently about those kind of, that verbiage. Right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we've talked a lot about a lot of different things.
I hope I'm helping you guys.
You certainly are.
I hope so.
He is
'Cause I don't like having that stuff on the top of my head.
my
It's
God.
so hard, and so many days I can
Oh
tell that
my
my mind is
God.
trying to like block it all out right now, and I think it's almost like a subliminal like coping mechanism, and I'm trying not to. I'm trying to like think about it so that I can help you guys, and that's why
So why don't you give yourself a break for a day or two and just live a normal life? Stop thinking about this stuff for a day or two and then revisit it. Maybe that'll help you because you look
Yeah, revisit
like
it
you're tired
after you
again.
got your lies together.
I lost my job yesterday, so that's where that comes from.
You lost your job with the geosciences place as well? Okay, sorry to hear that. With,
So
did you
he
mention
said
that-
geosciences place as well. Did she have 2 jobs? Because I didn't know she had 2. Let's go back.
I get what
Ready to
you're saying.
go?
Yeah, like he was prepping. It still sounded like he was
Okay.
prepping. I mean, everything he did sounded like he was getting ready for everything to happen. The only thing that I found really peculiar about the whole situation was the fact that he just kind of seemed disconnected about the apartment thing on Saturday, whereas in previous conversations, he was the one who brought it up, and he was the one who seemed really excited about it when I offered to help him do some like legwork on trying to find him a spot for him and his girls.
Right. I'll be right back. Okay.
So I don't know who his friend was. It was just weird because sometimes it seemed like some of the things he said, he was still really, a lot of things he said made sense. It still to this day makes sense. And then other things that he said don't make sense at all to me anymore. Or like they changed, you know?
Fair. Well, you know a lot more now. Well, unfortunately, you know a lot more now about terrible things that may have happened that changed the way you're thinking about what he said too. So making you think differently about those kind of, that verbiage. Right?
Definitely.
So we've talked a lot about a lot of different things.
I hope I'm helping you guys.
You certainly are.
I hope so, because I don't like having that stuff on the top of my head. It's so hard, and so many days I can tell that my mind is trying to like block it all out right now, and I think it's almost like a subliminal like coping mechanism, and I'm trying not to. I'm trying to like think about it so that I can help you guys, and that's why
So why
So
don't you give
you
yourself a
help
break
yourself.
for a day or two and just live a normal life. Stop thinking about this stuff for a day or two and then revisit it. Maybe that'll help you because you look like you're tired again.
Oh my
I
God.
lost my job yesterday, so that's where that comes from.
You lost your job with the geosciences place as well? Okay, sorry to hear that. With, I think you mentioned with your skill set though, you should be easily employable in another locale.
I don't know. I hope somebody hires me. I hope people don't see my name on a resume and just not hire me.
Well, your name hasn't even made it in the papers yet.
So I guess she had 2 jobs. I didn't know she had 2 jobs because he said as well. So that tells me she had 2 jobs. I didn't know she had 2 jobs. That's interesting. Um, yeah, right. So hard, just want to help. Yeah, right. Why wouldn't they plan to get it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is stupid to break a PlayStation. Those things are expensive. Oh, he broke the TV just because he could. That's stupid. I'm kind of a half with that, Ronnie. I feel like if a new investigator comes in and wants, or not a new investigator, I'm sorry, a new DA wants to come in, I kind of feel like if he would come in and open the case, reopen it, and look at the stuff that's closed, I feel like that she would be arrested. I feel like she should be arrested. Um, I don't feel like she won't ever be pay for it. I did at the beginning feel like that, but I don't feel like that so much anymore. I feel like it that there is evidence there if another DA will come in. I think so. But I did doubt it at first. Yeah. I think that's what they need. I think they need a new DA in there. Um because the stuff is sealed. I mean, the evidence is there. And they were just talking, like there was an expert just talking, and this was what I seen recently. I think it was like was this year or the last year I saw it. It ain't been a year ago. And they were saying that the technology that is there now to go into Skype and Snapchat and see what was there. That technology is now there. So they could very well revisit the case and go into that stuff. So I'm hoping that happens. But yeah, right, right. And I don't know. I would think most states statute of limitations on murder, if there isn't one, I would think. You know, I would think 50 years from now she could be arrested. You know what I mean? But the lesson was learned. When my oldest son was 6, he got into slamming his bedroom door in our face when he got mad. Yep, took it off the hinges. Yep. I've heard a lot of parents doing that. Yep. Mhm. Yep. So I think this is going to be the end of the like her first interview. So we'll stop it there with the end of that interview, and we'll start with when she leaves and then she comes back. And we'll go into the next one because we've been listening to over an hour of her voice. That's enough. Um, but um, I've always felt like she was there. If she didn't do it, she was part of it. She's guilty of something. The fact that she says, I will back away if you just tell me to, is we know that's a lie because she wouldn't have. Um, she wouldn't have, because if she was, then she was like planning on going and looking at apartments with him, and Shanann was back. That's not backing away. That's actually doing it under her nose. So I, I sit and wonder what would have happened, if just say that didn't happen. Say something like Shanann ended up coming home the next morning, or Shanann ended up staying with Nicole Atkins that night and then came the next day. Just say the plans got messed up. Um, would Nicole and Chris have kept going behind Shanann's back until he left? I don't think he could have pulled it off. I don't think they could have snuck around. I don't think he could have done it because by the time he got home, it was late and he was expected home by the same time every day because he came home the same time every day and he left the same time every morning. So I don't think he could have got away with it. That was the other thing that made me think he did what he did because he would have had to have taken time off from her until they got separated and then got a divorce. He would have had to take time off from her. And that would have meant he'd had to stay away from Nicole. And that would have meant he had to do the right thing because Shanann could have slammed him otherwise. And he didn't have the time or the patience to do that. So he didn't want to have to deal with that because then he would have to tell her, he'd have to deal with telling her, he would have to deal with her confronting him on it. He would have to deal with all of the stuff. So he just wanted to be rid of all of the stuff so that a way he could just start fresh and he didn't have to deal with Shanann or the divorce or anything. That's what I think. I think he couldn't get the answer to why couldn't he just get a divorce was because when Shanann came back, he couldn't be with Nicole. Couldn't be with Nicole because there wasn't going to be enough time in the day. And Shanann knew his schedule. So he would have had to have waited until he was legally separated and then legally divorced to be with Nicole. And he didn't want to wait all that time. He couldn't do that. That's why I think he didn't get a divorce. He kept the floor clean and bed made every day. I looked under the bed and found trash dishes. Yeah. Yep. Hey, it learned a lesson, didn't he? Yeah, I just think he didn't want to go through that's a divorce takes a while. In some states you have to have a waiting period. Some states you have to be separated a year. I think North Carolina you got to be separated a year and then a divorce. Some states are you can get a separation and then a divorce, but some make a limit. You got to be separated and you can't live with somebody or live with the person you're divorcing for so long. And he didn't want to have to wait and deal with all that. That's what I think. I think he didn't want to have to go through the motions of being separated, moving out, getting the expenses split. Because that whole time he would have had to stay away from Nicole. That whole time he would have had to stay away from her because the lawyer would have slammed him for it. So that's what I think. And the insurance is the other thing. Yeah, because I believe he was gonna say she went missing, and if he had done what he was going to was, I feel like, take them out to Survey and blow it up, they wouldn't have found them for a while. It took them a while to sort through all that and find them, and they wouldn't be looking for them because they wouldn't think that. But then a note would turn up all of a sudden, and then they would go searching for her, and then they would get the insurance money. That's what I think they were doing it for. But none of that worked. None of that worked. So, yeah. So that's why I think he didn't want the divorce because he didn't want to go through the steps. And then the other way they could get if they blew up, because that's why none of her stuff was with her. So that's my theory on it. But So, but okay, everybody, thank y'all for being here. Um, I don't know when I'll be live again. Maybe Tuesday night. I'm hoping Tuesday night. I got a fire department meeting Monday night. So maybe Tuesday night. I know it won't be Tuesday. Oh, no, it will not be Monday or Thursday. Those are both fire department stuff I got to do. So, probably Tuesday. Tomorrow, I hope I'm going to go live on the Looking Glass. We're going to talk, and maybe go over to some haunted stuff. Yep. Yep. Right. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. You have a great weekend too. Yes, we do appreciate all of you. Yes, yes. Yes, Ronnie, we're going to talk. We're going to be talking tomorrow. We are. I haven't decided what we're going to talk about yet. We may just talk about scary stuff and not look at scary stuff. We may do some card readings. We may, I don't know. Let's see. We might pull some oracles, pull some tarot. We'll see. Just going to have, well, tomorrow may just be whatever. Chatting and see where it turns. Um, uh, have a wonderful, yes, have a wonderful weekend. Join me tomorrow. Um, I'll try to put it up a couple hours early so we know. Um, I have to, because I have some stuff I'm going to church and then I have some stuff after church to do. But I'm hoping to do it like 6 o'clock, 6 or 7 o'clock. Um, I'm hoping that'll work. I'll be able to do that. I'll protect you, Ronnie. Oh, I'll have my sage going and my candle. We'll have it. We'll have it all good to go. But thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all very, very much. I appreciate y'all being here. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Eat good food. Stay cool. Um, watch some good TV or stay on YouTube for a little while longer. But good night. I love y'all. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.